name is Lizeth Reina, and today my topic will be on standardized testing. Do any of you, with your raise of hands, do you guys ever recall being in elementary and being very passionate, just want to go learn those colors or something new? Anyone? Anyone remember how that felt? I do. But then, do you ever recall towards the end, around, let's say, 3rd grade, I believe, you get introduced to something called the STAR, being a standardized test. Well, it was the text, but now it would be the STAR, being the state of text assessment of academic readiness, and being obligated to then begin to have to take this test. Do you ever then recall, or do you ever recall all of a sudden losing that passion and now want to, yes, go learn those colors instead of be like, oh, this text. Because I recall that I myself was a victim, or I've gone through this myself, of having to go through the STAR and having to be obligated to take this course or this test, in order to pass to the next level. And that being said, I'll go ahead and with this presentation, I would want for you guys to go with me and vote this standardized testing out. And that way we could now focus on more arts, and so we may also be wanting to learn and maybe gain that passion, because I would sure love to gain that passion once again. Wouldn't any of you? Raise your hands. Yeah, there you go. And by stating that, I will now go ahead and state some points. My first main problem with this test, no offense to anyone, my first main problem would be that we tend to lose our passion. And the fact being that we lose our passion is that we tend to not want to go to school. Who here wants to go to school to take a test? Woo! No, right? So then, that being said, I did extensive research and studies between the United States and Finland themselves. And Finland, I wish I was in Finland, no offense. They do not practice the standardized testing, and they actually have students who love learning, and they have teachers, more teachers in the arts field, and more students that actually expand their learning, and they are very passionate about just going to school and actually gaining some knowledge in that sense, being they're like, yes, school, and they have less time in school versus us. And my second problem to that as well, in addition to what I said, would be the fact that we tend to have a very limitation of our learning. Who here has ever learned, once this gets introduced, who here has, raise your hands, has learned something else other than what will be on this test? Raise your hand. Exactly. We don't tend to learn. We don't tend to actually begin to learn things that would be for the real world, things we will actually need after graduation. We tend to just be like, teachers would tend to just want you to study for this test so they could have higher ratings and have you to pass to the next level. I personally would want to pass to the next level knowing that I actually gained knowledge and that my learning was not limited because of the standard test and the state of Texas. With that being said, I'll go ahead now and state that right here, Peter Moore did a survey with the adults who have actually gone through this over the past 10 years of their course, and then stating some questions if school standardized testing, if they think it is either 1, does more good than harm, or 2, does more harm than good, or they're not sure. And as you can see here in the second one, everyone has a greater percentage that it does more harm than good. And even not sure would be much greater than good than harm. If you're not sure, then why should it be implemented if it's even higher than it does good than harm, in my personal opinion. And this was a survey done with random adults who have actually gone through this, and it was conducted by, again, Peter Moore. And in my personal opinion, I completely agree with this survey that it is so sad, that fact being that we tend to lose our passion and our limitations of learning are put on because we are obligated to take the standardized testing. And we all agree as individuals that it actually does more harm than good. That being said, I'll reflect back on my first problem one, being that we lose our passion in school. And the cause for that being that it is proven, also going back to my studies with Finland versus the United States, it is proven that students tend to lose their passion because standardized testing is implemented or obligated for us to go ahead and continue to the next level, versus the United States that does this and it proves us that we lose our passion. In Finland, that does not do this, and people actually have more passion for the topic itself. That would be one of the main causes because of the test is implemented and obligated for us to pass to the next level. And going back to my second problem being that the students are limited in their learning. The cause of that being that there is no time to actually learn something new. Instead, we are limited on our time by studying for this actual test, which to me does not benefit me for the real world. To who has actually, by taking this test, raise your hand, who has actually learned something by taking this test that would be for the real world and has actually expanded their learning. Exactly. We all have not learned by taking this test. Our learning is actually limited versus the people who actually in the country of Finland actually have learned much more knowledge, and they are not limited by this test or having to study for this test. Now that I have discussed my problems being the passion and the limitation because of this test, I'll now go ahead and do my solutions. My solution one is for us to vote out the standardized testing. And my second one, of course, would be to now focus on arts and to study practices such as Finland, and go ahead and implement classes for those studies. Now in conclusion, I hope after this speech you go ahead and go with me to vote out the standardized testing and who would now want to study more arts and focus on the arts. And we all have a voice, so let's go out there and vote. Thank you.